Playing video games with friends, it's a beautiful thing, and all you need is a couple of things to do it. Video games, hey, we're looking pretty good, and friends, dang it. That's not to say we don't have friends, we've got friends. Problem is, unlike video games, friends are living, breathing humans who gotta do human stuff. They can't just be waiting around all day for us in our game rooms, and if they did, well, I'm not gonna get into that one, but yikes. Something that I hear from a lot of you all the time is how hard it is to find time to play games just by yourself. So adding in another person, that can be tricky. Let's just say one night you're not on diaper duty and you've got some free time and you think, all right, now's my chance to play some games. And what would be even better? That's right, playing it with my friend. So you give your friend a call and you say, hey, I'm not on diaper duty. You want to come over and play? And your friend says, hey, that's great. You're not on diaper duty, but guess who is? Me. And I'm in the middle of cleaning up a huge sloppy diaper as we speak. It's gonna take a while, and so we are just gonna have to try for another night. There's just so much baloney in life that people have to do, aka anything that's not playing video games. So to have two people in the same room at the same time play a retro video game together for what? Can I get at least 20 minutes? Is that too much to ask? Well, apparently it is. So is playing older video games with a friend just a myth, or is it something that actually has happened at some point? Well, of course it's happened, but most likely it happened when we were younger. Back in the good old days of being a kid and not having very many responsibilities, friends were hanging out with each other all the time with their free time. After school, on weekends, whatever, that's what you did with your free time. You played video games with your friends, and other fun stuff too on top of that. And here's another thing, if you're gonna be playing retro video games, you kinda need to be playing them with somebody who's well acclimated to retro games. You ever try playing Contra co-op with somebody who sucks? That's no good. They end up just being dead weight, and you spend the whole time trying to save them. Now, in a perfect world, every single one of your friends would be super into retro video games, but that's not always the case. Maybe they're only into more modern video games, or just not into video games at all, which is a shame, but that's just how it goes. However, you may not be completely out of luck, because there are certain retro games that I found more casual people will enjoy. One thing that jumps out in my mind, if you have the right equipment for it, are light gun games. You just aim a gun at a screen and shoot. Anybody can do that. Another ideal situation that I can think of is playing video games with whoever lives with you. If you have a roommate who's super into retro games, then hey, that's a great situation for you. But there's also your significant other. That's right, playing video games with your honey buns. Another thing that you could do if you're looking for somebody to play retro video games with you is to create some new ones, literally by having children. Just think about it, it's the perfect plan. They live with you and they have to do what you tell them to do, and what you might choose to tell them to do is to play video games with you. As kids grow up and develop, they learn all sorts of valuable skills: reading, writing, arithmetic, but most important of all, how to play video games. Just kidding, but not really. As a lot of you know, I'm a huge advocate of younger generations playing these older games. So by teaching your own children how to play these games, not only does it give you a friend to play with, but it also helps carry on the legacy of these games. I think the reason why it's such a tease to not be able to play certain older games with other people is because that's how a lot of these games were designed. A bunch of people all sitting on the same couch or living room floor, whatever, in the same room having a great time together. And as much as I make arguments that there are objective reasons for why retro video games are awesome, it's hard to deny the nostalgia, and I think that the nostalgia is especially relevant when it comes to multiplayer games, because those memories you have of playing with friends, those are the memories that are really going to stick with you. Another thing that I've noticed is that this can all factor into your purchasing decisions when it comes to deciding if you want to add a game to your collection or not. There may be a game that's really well known for its multiplayer and you think, yeah, that would be really fun to play some multiplayer of. And then you think, wait a second, who the heck would I even play it with? And then your excitement kind of gets brought to a screeching halt with that. One of the perhaps most notorious examples of this would be good old Saturn Bomberman. Now, for those of you who don't know, Saturn Bomberman is known for being able to play 10 players all at once. So a lot of people think, yeah, that's great, but when the heck am I going to have, forget 10 Saturn controllers, when am I going to have 10 friends over ready and willing to play this game? And besides simply having enough controllers, how about having enough controllers that don't suck? That's right, cheap, crappy, third-party controllers. And this was especially the case back when we were kids, where your friend would come over and they'd get stuck with the cheap third-party controller. Those controllers always just felt like cheap crap, and probably because they were by design. The idea was to offer a cheaper alternative to the first-party controllers. And guess who was in the stores making the purchasing decision to buy these things? That's right, our parents fell for this trap hook, line, and sinker. Heck, what did they care? They weren't going to be using it. They just needed to make us happy by getting us another controller. So, hey, let's get the cheaper one. And if you had a friend who actually let you use the good first-party controller and made the sacrifice of using the crappy third-party one themselves, that is the sign of a true friend. So with all of that said, for this video's question, I want to ask, how much luck do you have nowadays when it comes to playing retro video games in the multiplayer modes? I know some of you may have much better luck than others. So for that and any other comments you may have, be sure to leave them down below, and I will see ya in the next video.
He's the retro bird, yeah, and he's talking about video games. He's the retro